What's up everybody, TechChucker here, and I've got a review for you of the Marvel Legends Lizard Wave Mysterio. This was the hardest figure to get from this wave, and I am super glad to finally have it. There are a few things that I don't really care for with this figure, but in the end, I'm still super happy that I have it. Now I don't need to go find the Toy Biz one, although that one has, I think, much better paint apps. But let's go ahead and crack this thing open and take a closer look. Alright, let's take a look at the articulation on this figure, because Hasbro did a pretty decent job with it. There's a few issues. We're going to take the helmet thing and the cape off first, just so that you can kind of see what we're looking at. The head is on a ball hinge, and he can look up a decent amount. I mean, that's not too bad if you can see from the shine of my light. And he can get his chin all the way down into his chest. If we just kind of finagle it there, again, not too bad. He's got good side-to-side rotation. There's really nothing getting in the way of that. And then for tilt, there's just a little bit, not a whole heck of a lot, but you know, that's not a big deal. In the shoulders, he's got a ball hinge, and he's able to get his arm out, straight out, which is awesome. He has full rotation. Mine's a little loose, but the upper bicep swivel works pretty good. Double jointed elbows, those work relatively well, even with that cuff thing. And then in the wrists, he has a peg and a hinge, and those work really, really good. No issues there at all. Moving into the torso, he's got the standard hinge, and he's able to crunch forward about that far, which is awesome. He's able to do that much for back arch, awesome. Swivel at the waist, works great. And in the hips, he has T-jointed ball joints. Well, those work pretty darn good. Let's see what he looks like, feet flat on the floor. Not too shabby. I mean, that's better than most Spider-Man figures from Hasbro, so, you know, I can't complain. He's able to kick forward about this far, about 90 degrees, just a hair over 90 degrees. That's pretty good. And then kicking back is, as always, pretty limited. Not much out of that. There is an upper thigh cut. That works good. Double jointed knees, those also work pretty darn good. Yeah, you're getting it all the way in half, which is pretty awesome. There is an upper boot cut. Mine's just a hair loose, but beyond that, not too shabby. In the ankle, he can get his foot all the way back with that hinge disc, and he can get his foot forward about that far. He has an ankle rocker. That works really good. And overall, articulation's pretty darn good. If we put the helmet cape thing back on, no real head swivel, but you can just take it off, and you know, shoulders aren't really hindered aside from going around. But, you know, overall, he's able to crunch forward still with it on. It's a little funky looking, but he can crunch back. So, you know, overall, even with the cape, it's not too shabby. I'm pretty satisfied. Alright, so the sculpt is what I was really, really excited for, and for the most part, I really like it, but let's take a look at the helmet and cape first. It, at a glance, looks really good. I don't know if I like the fact that the helmet is connected to the cape, but the inside of the cape looks really nice. It is kind of a more rigid plastic. I wish it bent a little more, but it's got a nice shape. You know, there's a little bit of detailing. I can't tell if it's paint or what it is, but that's fairly nice. The rest of the body, once you take the helmet off, the face is really cool. I like this. If I can get it to focus in, I think that they did a really nice job with this skull face with the tentacles coming out of the mouth and the eye. I mean, that's just sick looking. I think it's really cool. I didn't get the green one, but you know, I'm okay with this one. These tentacles are fairly soft. You can move them out of the way, which is nice. Moving down in the torso, it's nice. It's fully sculpted. All of those lines are sculpted in. Maybe a little bit of black wash would have helped, like they did on the cuff things. Those have a black wash, which looks really nice, or maybe it's dry wash, I don't know. But the rest of it is a hair bland, because there's no paint on it. Would have been nice to have some paint. Same with the boots. Those are a little shiny, and maybe those could have been toned down just a little bit. Sculpted nicely. I like the hands. Extra hands would have been cool to have some fist hands or something. But if we put this on, it really makes the figure. You can see the top, the little, I don't know, bump thing from manufacturing. I'm not a huge fan. I do like the buckle things on the cape. Those look nice. There's no paint on them, but you know, it's a little bit of a letdown. Alright, so let's go ahead and measure this guy up, because he comes in, he's relatively tall, but I would say 6 1/4-ish. Yeah, I think it's about 6 1/4, maybe a hair over, almost 6 1/2. It's about 6 1/4-ish. Yeah, we'll go with that, 6 1/4. And we'll do a size comparison with Cyclops next to him. Cyclops is about 6 1/2-ish, I think. And if you can see with the brightness, they're about the same. So maybe Cyclops is just about 6 1/4. I can't remember, but they scale really nicely. I think Hasbro did a pretty darn good job with the height on this figure. All right, so last but not least, accessories. Mysterio doesn't really come with a lot of accessories. He comes with 2 of these bubbly effects. It's basically when he is using his power of deception and whatnot. These are actually really cool, and then the lighting is kind of picking it up nicely. But these basically just kind of sit around him. I don't think they wrap around his feet or anything, but you can set them anywhere nearby Mysterio to give that impression that he is in the process of, I forget the word, but basically he's making someone have an illusion of what reality is. And if you know anything about Mysterio, he's the master of illusion. He creates a different reality. So you know, Spider-Man or whatever would believe something terrible is actually happening, even though it's not, or that he's seeing something. So I think this is really cool. It would have been cool if we had gotten 4 of them or 5 of them, but obviously Hasbro needs to save their money, and they're not going to do that. But overall, I'm really happy with this figure. There's a few issues with the sculpt and paint that, you know, the cape doesn't stay on super great, but, you know, at least it's connected to the helmet so it doesn't fully fall off. It just doesn't stay in position. The paint is pretty limited, but it's Mysterio. It's really cool. I don't have to go find the Toy Biz one now, so I am pretty darn satisfied, even with the few issues that I have with the figure. Alrighty folks, there you go. I hope you enjoyed this review. I hope it was helpful. If it was, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and until next time, I'll see you guys later.